Awesome. Thank you so much, Natalie. I'll let you get started whenever you're ready.
Okay, thanks. Hi, so good to be here today. Thank you so much for having me, Juliana, and all of Compass. So my name is Natalie. I'm the associate, I use she, her, ella pronouns, and I am the associate director for workforce with Episcopal Community Services. And we are a very large organization that provides a lot of different types of services to primarily people experiencing homelessness. We have different types of housing solutions and housing sites and all sorts of things. But what I do is I manage our training programs and our workforce services. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what we have available for people to access at the moment. And I am looking at myself right now, so I'm going to share my screen. I've got some slides that I'll go over, and then I can answer any questions that you have. So let me just get ready. I was correcting something on here, so give me 1 second while I prep the slideshow. Okay. Let's see. Slideshow, there we go. I never can find how to start the slideshow. I think we're ready to go though. Is this the right one? Yeah. Okay. Okay, here we go. Can folks see that? All right, great. Sorry, that took me a second to get here. So we have a few different programs this year. Let's see if I can advance them. But basically, this is our department, is the Workforce Development and Social Enterprise Department. And we work with folks that, as I mentioned, the unhoused population. So people that are at risk of homelessness as well. So folks that are homeless or even used to be homeless or kind of in between. So that includes people that are living in a shelter situation or even in permanent supportive housing. We can serve those folks, and those are really the people that we work with within our organization and outside. A lot of those people are single adults. We work with a lot of aging adults, folks that are over 55, as well as returning citizens, people that might have been involved, justice involved in the past or coming out of the justice system, so kind of re-entering society. And we also have adults with disabilities are also a main population that we serve and that we really have some expertise in. But this is just sort of generally target populations, but we really work with anyone that is wanting to re-enter the workforce. And our motto is kind of, we can help anybody that has barriers to employment or job training as long as they bring the motivation to succeed. We have 3 main programs right now in the Workforce Development Department. We have our own little job center, and then we have a couple of training programs that are more around occupational skills. So the job center, really, we provide professional development, job readiness training, computer skills, and direct support. We have several employment specialists at the job center that can help you with resume preparation and interview skills and preparing for interviews, setting up those interviews, and even getting you on Zoom and having interviews that are virtual, because so many of our things happen virtually these days. And then our 2 occupational training programs at the moment are our social services sector, which I'll go into in more detail later. And we also have a chef's training program. It's a culinary training program to prepare folks to go into the culinary field and work in kitchens. So I'll start kind of talking about the different services at the ECS Job Center. This is kind of a slide that talks about different pathways in. So we get referrals from internal to ECS from our different housing programs that I talked about. We also operate a coordinated entry access point where folks come in to the homeless response system, and they can also be referred into our job center from there. people can walk in off the street. That's what we mean by self-referral. And we also get referrals from partners like Compass Family Services and other partners in the community. So anybody here is welcome to come in. And I know that you offer some of these services as well at Compass. But kind of what we do at the Job Center, we do some assessments during the intake process, job readiness. We have digital literacy that's offered through our computer lab, financial coaching services. We also actually we work with the 5 Keys program, so we're able to have classes on site here to help people complete their high school diploma or GED high set as well. And then we can also help with job placement and retention and barrier removal. And so some of the pathways of the other side out of this is going into the chef's training program or the social sector training, as well as placement directly into jobs and also other training in the community. Really, we work with a understanding that it's customized and that whatever the client needs, we'll try to get them there. And this is kind of from the client perspective, what you'll encounter if you come into the Job Center. We'll give you some assessments and try to figure out where you are in your job readiness journey. And if you're really ready, or if you need some more preparation or training, we'll provide some job coaching as well, one-on-one. We'll make any referrals that you may be looking for and that we may identify in our one-on-one meetings. And then ultimately the goal is to get you placed into a job. So that's sort of that last step here. Reaching for the stars, reaching for that job. And this is just a little flyer, and I can send this separately to Juliana, and she can share it if that works, but I can share out. We have a couple of flyers that I can share that have our contact information. And I'll pause here in case anybody has any questions about the Job Center services before I move on. Okay. We'll have question time at the end as well. So the next program I want to talk about, and the one I'm the most excited about, because it's our brand new program, and we just launched it actually on Monday this week with our first group, is the Social Services Sector Training. This training is a really exciting program because we are able to offer stipends to participants. We are able to provide a laptop after the completion of the first module. It includes certifications. Before you walk away, you'll have a certification in verbal intervention. So it's sort of conflict resolution. It's through the CPI. I'm forgetting what the acronym stands for, Crisis Prevention Institute. So you'll have a certification from them that you can take into any job. And then the endpoint, again, is placement into entry-level roles at organizations like ours. So it can either be at ECS or at perhaps one of our partner organizations. Maybe we'll end up having, maybe there could be a job at a place like Compass. But this training will get you ready for those kinds of roles. Right. Not to be putting you out there, but is there a question?
So for social service roles, like case management roles, or this is geared towards nonprofits training?
It's geared towards nonprofits. So I don't mean like social work. I mean in the social services or sector, so nonprofits. So this is kind of a list of the kinds of roles so let's see. I think these are the kinds of roles that we might get you placed in when exiting the program. So they're entry-level roles, but some of the roles at ECS, for example, that we have is like a shelter service coordinator. And we have several different ambassador roles as well. In our healthy aging department, we have an activity coordinator assistant. An employment specialist is a role that we kind of want to start prepping people to enter as well. That's a role in the workforce development department. Some of the other roles that we've identified at partner agencies are like working at a front desk. There's ambassador roles at other agencies as well. So that kind of entry level work in organizations like ours, But no, it's not. You're not going to be really ready to do case management because there's not that clinical aspect to the training. But we see this as potentially the first step in getting towards that kind of a role. And we also want to, create pathways eventually to get to more mid-level career roles and professional level roles like that through this kinds of training. I skipped this slide, so I'm going to go back to it if that answered your question. I can't see anybody else right now, so sorry if I'm not reading faces, but feel free to interrupt me. The part of the last 3 weeks of the program actually includes job shadowing opportunities, and these are all, any participant would be placed at an ECS site. We have several different sites, and they would be placed and shadowing a staff person in these types of roles. So some of the ones that were on the last card, the last slide rather, like the shelter service coordinator, the ambassador. We also are going to be placing people shadowing problem-solving specialists and also housing navigation specialists. And this list is growing. I mentioned employment specialists. That's another one that we're adding to the job shadow opportunities. And those are all taking place at ECS and ECS sites. Any more questions about how this program works, or any of these roles, or what kind of material is there? Okay.
I didn't hear how long the program was.
I don't know if I said it. It's 9 weeks long.
Okay.
Total. Yeah. So there's sort of a fundamental section before you get the laptop that is mostly distant, and you can do it before you enter the program. And then there's 9 weeks of hard skills training where you would be studying all of the different aspects of getting ready to do this. So that includes the certification, and it also includes 3 weeks of job shadowing.
Is this a stipend? Is this the stipend program you were talking about?
It is. So there are stipends throughout the program, starting once one completes the fundamentals. And they're growing stipends. So there's 3 different modules, and you start out at $100 a week, and then it goes to $200 a week. And then during this job shadow, I think it's $350 a week for 20 hours a week of job shadowing. So it's actually above the minimum wage if you break it down to hourly. So it's a really significant amount, we believe, of stipends that I think can really make a difference to people's ability to, complete a program like this. So we're really excited because I think there's a lot of opportunity for people to be able to benefit and get through the whole program. Because I understand 9 weeks can be a long time, but if you have some financial support during that time, then it can help get you through.
Do you know what's the qualifications as far as documentation that may be needed to enroll into the stipend program, or is that any of that needed?
You will need to you will need to be able to provide documentation that you're eligible to work in the United States, because it is a job placement program. Unfortunately, we don't have it set up right now to work with undocumented citizens. Other than that, the barriers to entry are pretty minimal. You do have to provide documentation for work papers, so either California ID and Social Security card, or something equivalent. The other thing that we do require, because we require this of staff, is vaccination status. And unless you have an exemption, and then we would work with the person, but we do require vaccinations of staff unless they have a valid exemption. So we do require that as well of anybody that's in the program, because they would be shadowing the staff. So that's COVID vaccination status, and we would put proof of that on file. Any other questions about this program? I do want to also share, I don't think it's on this flyer. I need to update the flyer, but we did just start our first cohort this week. So our next cohort is going to be starting in January. I have right now, I'm planning to start it on January 10th. So there's plenty of time to kind of complete your prerequisites before. I think it's 22 hours total. So if somebody was interested in enrolling in January, they could come in and start filling in paperwork and making sure everything, because there's an application process, but it's really just to collect information, not to weed anyone out. So fill in the paperwork, get all your ducks in a row if you're like in the middle of trying to get your vaccination complete or things like that. So I would recommend if people want to enter it, they could start doing that process now or in the next month. So they're really ready by the beginning of January to hit the ground running. I'm seeing things coming through in the chat. Oh, but okay. People are just getting attendance because y'all are good at this. Good participants. These are the kinds of participants that we want in our program, engaged and like ready to move forward in their lives.
So is this for contact information about how to reach out to you, and do they reach out to you and specifically with their resume, or do they reach out to you and say that they're interested in the training program?
I don't need to see a resume. That's optional. So they can just let me know they're interested in the training program, and then we can set up an appointment for them to come down to the site and speak with one of our, actually there's our main instructors. Her information is on here on the very last slide, I think, a contact card. And she would be she's performing intake and outreach as well. So they would speak to her and start the application process. We don't have it up online, unfortunately, yet. So maybe we might have it up by January. The application stuff, we're kind of redoing the website right now, but right now it would be in person.
And are the days that they're available, like the part-time hours, are they on the weekends or weekdays, or how does the schedule look for that?
For the job shadow piece?
Yes.
Yeah. So even though some of the roles do have weekend and nighttime shifts, we would begin the job shadow during Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, most likely, because we want staff to be available as well from the workforce program. So that being said, if somebody wanted to participate in the program and had a different kind of schedule where they were more available in the evenings, there are some of the job shadow opportunities do have variable schedules and do have opportunities to shadow at other times. So we could potentially work with somebody to set up a schedule that works for them. So for example, the shelter service coordinator has day shifts, swing shifts, and night shifts, and weekend shifts. And for that role, if somebody was shadowing, during the program, we do a job shadow match portion. So they'll participants hear about the different types of job shadow roles available in that first week, and then we kind of try to do a matching with them in the fourth week. So they really, so we both have a good idea of their needs and interests, and we can get them into the right fit. So that would be the opportunity to kind of match with schedules as well.
That all sounds wonderful. One more question for you, Natalie. If a participant who's or potential participant who's undocumented were willing to forego the stipend, would there be any possibility to participate, or is it still kind of not a possibility there?
That's interesting. I don't think that I actually think that they wouldn't need to forgo the stipend. The problem is that our funders, that the program is funded via the city, and that there is an expectation of job placement at the end.
Okay.
And so we need to be able to potentially place the majority of our participants in a legitimate job at the end. That being said, I love that question, because I know that the city is really looking at how to build pipelines for people that are undocumented. Mm-hmm. And really, I mean, whatever the federal funders say, how can we show that work is valuable and important as well, So interested in exploring that and having that conversation with the funders. And I will keep you all posted about whether that's something that we can open it up to, because I would really love to, because I don't like saying no, and I certainly don't like saying no to people because of their documentation status. I really want to make this program available for all of them, all of them being job seekers. Any job seeker should be able to access this program and find some pathway to employment, whatever that employment might be, in my opinion. So that's my personal opinion, though. So I have to work with the funders, unfortunately. So that's the rub, right? So I need to have that conversation with them. But my feeling is that they're becoming more and more open to being creative about creating those pathways. So
okay, sounds good. Well, we'll retouch base about that for sure. Yeah. I see, Amro, you've got your hand raised. Do you have a question too?
Yeah, my question is how long this is gonna be for, and after the training completed, do we get hired by you, or does you certify us or give a certificate in the end, or what?
Yeah, so there's no guarantee of a job placement at the end of the 9-week training program. So the program is 9 weeks, and we will help you get placed into a job, but we can't make promises. What we do guarantee is a job shadow at ECS, and if there's a good fit and there's a job opening, there's a good possibility that you might get placed into a permanent job. However, we are also working with a number of partners who also have job openings that become available throughout the year, and they are in agreement that they will make those opportunities available to us as well and give us first notice of job opportunities that open up. So we do believe that we will be able to find a placement for a candidate that is ready to be placed. But we can't guarantee that, because it all depends on the job market and what the availability is.
Another question: does the training paid for?
Yes. Yes.
And how much is the pay, and how long? And is it in person, or is it gonna be online?
So we have the capacity to do both right now. The group that we have at the moment are a little hybrid. We have people in the classroom. We also have people that are signing in through Zoom. So in the job shadow, it's in person 100%. But during the training, you can also do a mix. You can be on site in the class. You can also sign in virtually. The pay, I think I mentioned earlier, so you get a stipend every week. It starts at $100. $100 a la semana. I don't know if that's your language, but $200 in the second week, and then it's during the job shadow, it's $350 per week. So not $200 in the second module. So each module is 3 weeks, and it goes $100, $200, and then $350. And you also asked about certificates, I think. We will give you a certificate. Go ahead, Amro. Sorry.
So do I have to fill out a W-4 form? Is it going to be taxable, or this is just something that you guys pay?
It's a stipend, so it's not going to be taxed in like a wage. It's a stipend, so you don't have to fill in a W-4, but you may receive a 1099. Is it a 1099 at the end of the year, because it is income? So we're actually trying to figure out what the responsibility is there, but it's not. We do not take out taxes. So.
And also, if I wanted to enroll, you guys located on Natoma Street, or by Natoma?
Yeah. Yeah, I have an address card at the end as well. Sorry, I haven't gotten there yet, but we're at 165 8th Street, which is right here, and then we are on the corner of 8th and Natoma. That's exactly right.
So should I just call ahead of time when I wanted to enroll, or what?
Yeah, give us a call or send us an email first so we can set up an appointment. Because we're still doing the social distancing thing, so we like to make sure there's, you know, a limited numbers, not everyone
And
coming
then
in at once.
just ask for Natalie. Just ask for you.
Yeah, you can ask for me. That's my extension that's up on the screen as well, so you can get me directly if you go through that number.
So is that your email? If I email you, just say attention to Natalie, or just to whoever, or
Yeah, that email address is checked by myself and a couple of other of my teammates. So you can put my name in the subject. You could also just put social sector training in the subject, and we'll get that email and make sure to respond.
And how long do I have? You said January, so I have this month and December until what the exact date that you start?
We're planning to start on January 10th.
I see. Okay, that answered
Yep.
my question. I thank you so much. I have no further questions.
Thank you. I know you asked about certificates, so I wanted to respond. So we will provide a certificate of completion at the end from us, and you will also complete, you'll also have completed a certificate from the Crisis Prevention Institute. So you will walk out of here with a professional card as well from them. So I know you asked about that earlier. Thanks. Oops. I can move on to the chefs program, but I would like to mention before that the chefs program is not running right now. We're still hiring an instructor, but we will be starting it up again soon. I don't know the date, so I don't know how much time I want to spend on it. It will be starting up. I hope by January, if not before. But I can't take referrals into it right now, so because we're still hiring our team. But I can kind of go over a little bit of the chefs if folks are interested in learning more. Okay, I'm seeing a thumbs up from Juliana. I finally can see everybody else now on my screen. I expanded it. So we do our other program, and this is our flagship program. We've been offering it for quite some time. I'm not, definitely longer than I've been here. I think it's at least 15 years. Is a culinary arts training program. And this prepares people to work in the culinary sector. So it's not to learn how to be a home cook, but it's really for people that want to go and work in a kitchen, either a catering kitchen or a restaurant kitchen. It could be fast food. We get a lot of folks that come through the program that want to work in our shelter kitchens and in other sort of institutional settings. So there's a lot of different kinds of settings. The program includes classroom and kitchen lab instruction. We have the classrooms here. And we also have a teaching kitchen where folks actually go into the kitchen and learn the skills. We are actually in, I think, spring of 2022, we're going to be opening up a new facility on Mission and 7th, kind of. So it's going to be, so right now we're in our old facility, but we've broken ground and we're building out a brand new facility that'll be really exciting. So if nothing else, we'll be definitely starting up then once that's open. We also have digital literacy, job readiness, and career advisement, just like we do in the other programs. So kind of part of the Job Center, we offer that as part and parcel of all our programs. The chefs program also includes a stipend, and it also includes transitional job opportunities at ECS. So folks can go into a 2 to 6 week long stipended employment audition. They can also go into a longer transitional job paid work experience. So we have a lot of like on-call cook roles and things like that in our kitchens, because we have several kitchens. So that's the kind of work that you might get placed into if you're going into a longer transitional job placement. And then some folks also get directly placed into jobs in kitchens. So that sort of the pathway is something that you develop with your instructors and your employment specialists during the program. And then this is just, yeah, I only left a couple of slides in there because it's kind of on hiatus right now, but this is, oops, that's where our offices and trainings are located. So the first address is the one that I mentioned first. Cannon Kip, that second address there is right kitty corner from us. It's also on the corner of 8th and Natoma, but the other corner, and that's where the chef's program is operates out of. And then these are our contact cards here. And there you have our general workforce email address, and you also have my direct email address, and a couple of other folks in the team. Probably the last person on here probably shouldn't be on here because he works for a specific program that is a little separate from our trainings. But that's me, Natalie, and Melanie is in charge of chefs. And then Catherine is our frontline essentials instructor, and she teaches for both the Job Center and the social service sector training, and she is kind of my right-hand person in a lot of these trainings. So we're both available to speak with you about the program. And Catherine is the person that will be doing your intake and working through the application process with you.
I do have a question. What opportunities do you have for undocumented immigrants at your organization?
I don't know that we have any for training?
Like or training, or just what type of services or job opportunities wise, or do you guys provide case management or anything like that?
I assume that we do, but because I only know about my programming, I don't really know. Like anybody that's undocumented can absolutely access services at the Job Center. It's only only for us, the programs that need to result in a job placement are the ones that are funded for job placements that make it difficult. But we've certainly worked with undocumented folks in the Job Center and provided different services and helped folks through. I know through the access points, like documentation does not matter. So I don't think any of the housing programs have limitations around that. It probably depends on the individual funding, but I know like Greg's, whose name is up there, he works with the problem solving team through the access point, and I know that he's worked with a lot of undocumented folks that come through those services. So I know that those are open to them. In terms of job placements at ECS, I don't think that we have a lot of opportunity in that realm at ECS. I'm not with the HR department, but I think that we always collect documentation when we hire someone.
Thank you.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does.
Okay, great. Are there any other questions? Oh, I think I just stopped my screen sharing. That's fine. I was done with the slideshow. I hit exit on the slideshow and it took me out.
Just please send out the flyers to Juliana. So we just different flyers of different type of services that that you guys presented today, and then we can outreach to the people that didn't get the chance to attend. And it's recorded too, so they'll be able to go back and see.
I have a question. What if I can join the class right now, but I'm interested for maybe in the next one? But can I just ask you or Juliana? No, Mateo.
Yeah, so I think Rosalva, I mean, you're welcome to be in contact with me too, but I would just give you Natalie's contact information again and refer you that way.
Absolutely, because so we just started one group this week, right, as I mentioned, and then the next group starts in January, and we will have lots more groups after that. So we always encourage people to do a program when they're ready, right? So it's not always the right time right now, but it's going to be ongoing. It's funded for the next 2 years, so there will be lots of opportunity to participate. And you can always reach out to me. I'll be here and find out what the update is.
Is the culinary one paid for training, a stipend program as well?
It does have stipends. They don't start the first week. I think they start in the third week. So the first 2 weeks are kind of trial period, probationary, introductory period. That's the word I'm looking for. I hate the probationary language. It's like an introductory period, but once somebody's passed the first 2 weeks and they're committed, then they do start receiving stipends as well. I don't know what the structure in terms of the amounts will be when it restarts. I think it's going to change a little bit, so I don't want to say, but
what was it? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I think it was 100. No, I think it was lower than that. But that's what we're trying to change. We're trying to get it to the same level that we have the social service sector, but it's always dependent on funding. And we have a lot less funding for that this year, unfortunately. So, but we're trying to see how we can get it kind of in the same area through private funding, because I think it really makes a difference when it's a significant amount of money. And actually, I will share with you, it used to be like $50 for the first part and then $100 for the second, like per week, which is, it does help, but it's not as meaningful. It's like, it doesn't cover everything. And there's other barriers, we can help with things like transportation. There's other things we can help with. But even so, if you really put like some real money in the pocket, it makes it so people don't have to leave to work, that they can really wait to finish until they go into a job that's better than the one that they might have to take.
Oh, yes.
So that's our goal. We want to get there with
hopefully all the when it starts up and running, you can host another workshop on it here when it gets start back up and running.
I would love to. I would probably come with my colleague Melanie, who's been working with the program for several years, and she's super dynamic, and she does some of the instruction, and she really runs the program and has developed it in lots of different ways. And we'd love to. I'll let her know.
Rosalva, did you have another question? I just saw you come off mute there. I just wanted to check in. Okay, never mind. Hopefully hopefully that answered your question. I can definitely also just send you an email with Natalie's contact information, so you have it there for you whenever you're ready to join too. Awesome. Any more questions for Natalie? We all set? Okay.
No questions. Just want to thank her for all the information that she, about the programs, and it will be wonderful that I can apply. But thank you guys. Misha make so wonderful questions. Got my answers back. So thanks.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for being here. I hope to see you.
Wonderful. All right. Well, I think we can go ahead and pause here before our Spanish session. That way we all get a little break. And thank you to everyone who came to hear the presentation today. And I'm excited that y'all had such amazing questions and y'all are so engaged, and really hope that if you're interested, this is something we can connect y'all with in a meaningful way. So thank you again for coming out, and thank you again to Natalie, and we'll see you again, Natalie, in a few minutes.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Great to see you all.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Have a wonderful day.
You
Bye-bye.
too. Bye.